I've been sitting in it at my favorite establishment for about half an hour now. The waitress had just poured me a second beer and carried the empty one away. I was here because I needed to think about something. Something wasn't right at home and I couldn't figure out why. As everyone knows, serious thinking is best done with alcohol. Over the past couple months, my wife Beth's attitude has started to change. When I tried to bring it up with her and ask her what was wrong, she just shut me out. Our sex has also deteriorated dramatically. She started complaining about our finances a lot. I couldn't understand this as I was earning very well. We had everything we needed and still had enough left over to enjoy some of the finer things in life. With our investments and other assets, our fortune was approaching $5 million. Things were going well, but she acted like we were just running out of money. Funny thing is, the country club membership I had given her 6 months ago didn't seem to matter. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. I was thinking the same thing. The most logical explanation is that she was having an affair and decided to switch. There were a couple problems with that. First, we didn't have a prenup. That would mean I would be raped in the divorce. Second, I had no proof of her infidelity. Anyway, I was just sipping from my second beer when I saw her walk into the bar. No, it wasn't my wife. She was supposedly out with the girls tonight. I had no idea who she was, but she was a real beauty. All the heads in the bar turned in her direction and watched as she quickly looked around and then started walking straight toward me. When she reached the booth I was sitting in, she just slid over to me without even saying boo. She stared at me for a minute and then started talking. "Adam Colton?" she asked. I just nodded my head. Brandy's waitress quickly came over and took her order for a glass of white wine. "My name is Alyssa Holmes. I have a bunch of information for you that I think you might find useful. I also have a suggestion on how best to use this information." "Okay," replied I. "How much is this information going to cost me?" She smiled. "It won't cost you a dime. What's more, if you accept my offer, it will even allow you to keep more of your assets than you normally would." "Okay. What information do you have?" "First of all, your wife is cheating on you." "And how do you know that?" "Do you have proof?" "I know this because she is cheating on you with my brother. I have pictures, video recordings, audio recordings, and notarized evidence of it. I am willing to provide all of that to you." "Wow. You must really hate your brother to throw him under the bus like that." Her smirk lit up the entire bar. Quite the opposite. In fact, I'm here on his errand. He sent me to keep her occupied while we talk. I'm confused. If he's taking her away from me, why should he try to help me? I mean, I read all these stories about wives cheating, and in most of them, the wife blindsides the poor fool, so he can't prepare and fight back. By warning me, I can start preparing and transferring assets to reduce the amount the court will order me to pay her. Isn't that counterproductive for him? Normally, yes. But in this case, it's different. You see, we don't want you taking advantage of this information and immediately proceeding with a divorce. By all means, take the opportunity to transfer assets and do what you need to do. Just don't file for divorce. Don't even inform her that you suspect her of cheating. Let us handle the divorce. We will prepare virtually all of her documents for you. How are you going to do that? Lord knows Gloria loves money. I can't imagine her just giving up half of our assets, as well as substantial alimony payments. Her smile turned midnight into a bright, sunny summer afternoon. Damn it, I'd probably die of radiation sickness from being exposed to her smile. Okay. There are a few things to keep in mind. First, my brother is a very good man. When he began his relationship with your wife, he had no idea she was married. In fact, she came to him on her own. It was only 2 weeks ago that a check came in, and we discovered that she was married to you. It took another week to do more checks and get all the information we needed to make sure she was not going to divorce or live apart from you. This information also indicated that she just wanted a change of residence. You're pretty rich, but we're much richer, much richer. Our data shows you're worth about $5.164 million. That includes the 1968 GTO you're about to buy for about $10,000 less than it's actually worth. She saw the amazed look on my face. Yes, we have very detailed information. When you get into our league, you need to pay close attention to who you are dealing with. We also found out that you are a very decent and honest person. That's why we decided to go that route. Okay. You seem to be putting me at a disadvantage because you have all the information about me, and I don't know anything about you. Yes, I understand. I gave you my name. My brother's name is Brad Holmes. A quick internet search should give you enough information about us to answer any questions you may have. Also, feel free to hire a private investigator to make inquiries about us. You can even send us a bill for that if you'd like. Okay. But I need to check everything out before I do anything. So, what is this plan you have? One more thing you need to know. Brad was already married. She was a whore with golden hands. He caught her cheating on him. Luckily, they had a prenup with very harsh penalties for infidelity. Basically, she left with the clothes on her back and what she could carry in 2 suitcases. Because of this, Brad despises cheaters and gold diggers. He's usually a very nice guy, but can be ruthless when he finds someone trying to take advantage of him. So he's going to lead her around by the nose for the next couple months. Eventually, he'll convince her to file for divorce from you so she can marry him. In doing so, one of the conditions will be that she will demand absolutely nothing from you. He will convince her that she will not need any of your assets because he is worth over $500 million. About 2 months later, he will make her an offer. She will have to admit to him that she is still married. Judging from the email she sent to one of her friends, she's going to tell him that you've been living apart for a long time, but never actually divorced. She is going to make you look like the bad guy and claim that you cheated on her throughout the marriage. When you threaten to fight the divorce, he'll convince her to give you everything so the divorce will go through quickly and they can get married. You get everything, she gets nothing. Once the divorce is finalized, Brad will lay out all the lies she has told him. He will tell her that he can't trust a woman who cheated on her husband. He will dump her and leave her with nothing. Looks like I really have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Even if everything you're telling me is bullshit, I can still protect myself by hiding assets and preparing to divorce that bitch. I still need the information you have and would like to meet your brother. Since he obviously didn't know she was married, I have no beef with him, so you don't have to worry about a physical reaction on my part. If he's as nice a guy as you say he is, and if what you've told me is true, maybe we can even become friends. That beaming smile again. You're a good man, Adam Colton. I think you and Brad will get along just fine. With those words, she finished her wine, stood up, and walked out the door. I would like to thank the Academy for this great honor. Yeah, that didn't happen. Nevertheless, the next 2 months were going to bring me an Oscar. I put enough effort into having sex with Gloria so that she wouldn't suspect a thing. Of course, I kept getting turned down. But I didn't mind. A couple weeks later, I met up with Alyssa and Brad for an extended lunch. I also managed to meet Alyssa a few times for dinner when Gloria was elsewhere with Brad. Gloria and I had become more like platonic roommates than a married couple. Alyssa, I hate to do this, but I think we should back off for a while. I told her this over dinner a little over a month after she came to the bar to find me. Really? But we get along so well, she replied. Yeah, that's the thing. We're getting along too well right now. I'm not like Gloria. I'm a one-woman man. I don't cheat on the woman I'm with. Sure, Gloria and I don't have a special relationship anymore, but she's still my wife. I just can't start a new relationship until our divorce is final. The problem is that I have real feelings for you. I can't compromise my morals by starting a relationship with another woman while I'm still in a relationship with her. Besides, I care about you so much that I don't want to ruin what we might have by stooping to her level and starting another relationship before my current marriage is fully consummated. Alyssa sighed heavily. I understand. You're a good man, Adam. I admire your ethics and sense of right and wrong. It's one of the things I admire most about you, and probably the main reason I fell in love with you. Screw Gloria. She's too stupid to understand any of this anyway. All right. We'll back off a little, but I'll be damned if I wait any longer than I have to. Let's finish dinner, and then you can ask me to the dance. As soon as you drop me off at home, I'll call Brad and have him pull the trigger. It's a month earlier than we planned, but Gloria's too stupid to realize it. She is? How imbecilic does she have to be to leave a terrific husband like you? Alyssa is a skilled dancer. Even though it was obvious we were together, several men came up to our table while we were taking a break to ask her to dance. This turned out to be amusing. What are you, a jerk who wasn't taught good manners by his mom, or just a jerk with delusions of mediocrity? First of all, I would never even consider dancing with a pig like you. who didn't even deign to ask the man I feel so good with if he'd let me dance with you. You come in here waltzing around like you think you're God's gift to mankind, when in reality you're just an arrogant asshole who probably couldn't find a woman's, with the help of a map, GPS, and a Boy Scout handbook. After this potential Lothario disappeared, a couple of daredevils came up and politely asked if I would let them dance with her. I replied that she could dance with them if she wanted to. Alyssa always refused, explaining that she saved all her dancing for me. Alyssa stole my soul as I walked her to the door that evening. She turned around, put her hands on my cheeks, and kissed me, stealing my soul. She smiled. Why the hell did I have to fall in love with such a damn honorable man? Alyssa, the day the official divorce decree is served, I'll be kneeling on your doorstep, holding a ring in one hand and a signed prenup in the other. I'm not here for your money. Even if things go wrong and I have to give this traitor most of my assets, I'll have enough money of my own to not need yours. I love you, Alyssa. That's all that matters to me. My ring size is 6.5. Don't worry about the prenup. I had my attorney draw it up 2 weeks ago. Just send me your attorney's contact information, and I'll have my attorney give him a copy to review. A week later, it happened. No, not that Alyssa and I met. It was a Friday night. I came home from work and found Gloria and Brad sitting on the couch. I noticed Brad's smirk and his subtle nod in my direction. Honey, Gloria began. We need to talk. Looking at the situation, I realized almost immediately what was going on. It also helped that Alyssa had warned me about it earlier that day. In the scheme of things, Gloria and Brad were sitting on the couch next to each other. On the coffee table were 2 glasses and a half-empty bottle of wine. Also on the coffee table was a manila envelope. Yes, as expected. I walked over to the couch and held out my hand. Hi. I'm Adam, I said. I see you're a wine drinker, but I'm more of a craft beer drinker. I'm going to get myself a beer. Do you want one or do you prefer wine? It's nice to meet you. My name's Brad. Actually, I'd prefer a beer if you don't mind. Thanks, he replied. A couple minutes later, I returned with the beer I had brought. Being a good host, I opened both beers right in front of them so they could make sure I didn't spoil them. After slamming the caps on the bottles and taking a sip each, we sat down. He on the couch as before and me in the chair. So, I began. What do we need to talk about? Well, Adam, began Gloria. This may come as a shock to you, but I want a divorce. I didn't want it to happen, but Brad and I just fell in love with each other. We are soulmates. I'm sorry, but our marriage really wasn't that great for a while, and then I met Brad. It just happened. Now is the time when it's best for both of us to end it so Brad and I can start building a new life together. She even managed a couple of sighs and a few tears. Looks like I'm going to have some serious Oscar competition. She was very good as the grieving wife. Well, Gloria, this is really a shock to me. Yes, we've had some problems, but mostly because you've been shutting me out. I asked you many times what was wrong and what I could do to help. You never answered me back. I tried to do more for you. I tried asking you out on more romantic dates, but you always had other things to do. I brought you flowers, but you just ignored them. When I tried to get intimate, you kept pushing me away. You never once mentioned that I could help solve our problems. I even suggested you see a psychologist, but you refused. You said Brad was your soulmate, but you said I was your soulmate when we got married. If there were problems in our marriage, you should have discussed them with me first, so we could have worked on them and fixed them, instead of leaving and looking for another lover. Now, instead of working with your husband to fix our marriage, you just serve me divorce papers. I'm not sure we still can't work things out. No, Adam. It's too late for that. Here are the papers. I'm being very fair with the division of assets. Divide the assets? You lie and cheat on me, spending the money I bring home on yourself, and you think you deserve to be paid for it? I go out of my way to provide you with a great life and in return you cheat and abandon me? Bullshit! Good luck getting the divorce you want soon. If I have to pay you anything, it will be next to nothing. I'm hiring the most expensive legal team I can find with the sole purpose of dragging this case out as long as possible and siphoning off as much money as possible so that when it's finally over in a couple of years, there won't be anything left to pay your ass. Then Brad made his offer. Okay, Adam. Look, I'm really sorry. When we first met, I didn't even know she was still married. By the time I found out, we were already madly in love. Obviously, while you still love Gloria, she no longer loves you. I understand your position, but the bottom line is that Gloria no longer wants to be married to you. No matter how hard you fight it, as you said, the divorce will eventually happen. By fighting it, you'll only be giving the lawyers the bulk of your assets. Sure, it will reduce the amount you will have to pay her, but in doing so, you will lose almost everything yourself. There's no need for that. Since we plan to get married as soon as the divorce is finalized, you won't have to pay spousal maintenance. Besides, I'm a very wealthy man, so Gloria won't have to take anything from your estate. In fact, whatever she gets from the divorce will be a drop in the bucket compared to the wealth she'll get from marrying me. How about this? You leave the house free and clear. You leave your pension, all your savings and investments, and half of what's in the checking account. She walks away with half of the money in the checking account, all of her clothes, personal items, and car. Frankly, she won't need anything else after the wedding. Okay, I grudgingly agreed. Except that she will return her wedding and engagement rings, as well as all the jewelry I inherited from my family. I also want the expensive jewelry we keep in a safety deposit box. I bought them with the expectation that we would eventually inherit them to our children and grandchildren. Brad turned to Gloria. Remember, we discussed this. We're already hurting him with what we've already done. It's better to get this over with soon so we can get married and start a new life. You're right, Brad. I won't need his money after we're married anyway. Let's get the new papers ready and filed. With those words, we toasted our agreement and they left. I know some of you will think I'm a heartless bastard who only left a couple dollars in a joint checking account. You'd be wrong. It might make her suspicious. We usually try to keep about $10,000 in the account. That's all I kept. She had several designer dresses, expensive shoes, and other accessories. Most men don't realize it, but in divorce they give away a big chunk of money when they ignore their wives' closets. Gloria had nearly $60,000 worth of clothes on the retail market. There is a pretty good market for high-quality used women's clothing online. Of course, you can't get the full retail price, but you can get at least 50 to 75% of it. Her car was a one-year-old Lexus that we paid cash for. It still had a lot of value. Her pension was not large. It was probably a couple $1,000s and she wouldn't be able to touch it for another couple decades. A week later, my attorney and I met with them at her attorney's office. He emphasized that he strongly advised his client to reject the proposed property division. In essence, 90% went to me and 10% to Gloria. It doesn't matter. When the divorce is final, Brad and I will get married. That will get rid of alimony and I won't need the rest of the assets anyway, Gloria said. I just want it to be over as soon as possible so I can move on with my life. We signed all the papers and he had his assistant notarize everything. Now all we had to do was wait 60 days for the final decision. During that time, Alyssa and I got to know each other much better. We spent most of our free time together. No, we didn't have sex. God knows we both wanted to, and were close to it more than once. But we decided to wait until the final divorce decree came through. Brad and Gloria also continued their relationship. She even moved in with him permanently. Brad, Alyssa, and I were making and refining our plans for the finale. The 60-day waiting period has expired. The day before, I had received the last notice in the mail. The 455 CI's powerful engine rumbled as I pulled into the parking lot in front of the mansion. I depressed the clutch, shifted the Borg-Warner 4-speed transmission into neutral, and applied the parking brake. Stepping out of the car, I smoothed the lapels of my new tuxedo. I really needed to make a good impression. After all, I was now free of my cheating wife and was about to enter the next phase of my life. I quickly patted my jacket to make sure that everything I needed was still safely tucked away in the inside pocket. With that done, I turned to see a guy in his early 20s hurrying after me, under the envious stares of his coworkers. She has a very stiff clutch. Be smooth and gentle with her, advised me as he respectfully climbed into my 1968 GTO. I'd spent the last month decorating it. Now that I didn't have a wife wasting all my money on crap anymore, I could afford to spend some money on something I really wanted to do. I had just gotten it back from the paint shop 2 days ago. I was grinning from ear to ear as I walked up the steps and into the mansion. This night was going to be epic. Before I walked through the open door, I caught a glimpse of the next visitor. This would turn the night from just epic to completely legendary. I just couldn't contain my laughter. So you're a little confused. That's not surprising. I attended the divorce party. It was in honor of me and Gloria's final divorce decree. I had an official invitation. No, I didn't barge into Gloria's party. It was all part of the plan. The party was being held at Dave's mansion. While it was far from a surprise party, there would be a few surprises throughout the evening. It was a very upscale party designed to introduce a new member into Dave and Alyssa's social circle. Gloria had been looking forward to this event for the past 2 months, ever since preparations had begun. No sooner had I stepped through the door than I was met by Alyssa. Her left hand slipped into the loop of my right, and we were off. The smile couldn't be removed from my face with nuclear weapons. She began taking me around the ballroom and introducing me to the influencers of society. We were halfway through the grand ballroom when it happened. "What the hell is he doing here?" I heard a very familiar voice say. Alyssa and I suddenly found ourselves face to face with Gloria and Dave. Needless to say, Gloria wasn't too happy to see me at her special evening. Not only was I the ex-husband she had just left, but it would be very awkward for her new man to propose to her in my presence so soon after our divorce. "I'm sorry, Gloria," Dave began, "but it seems that my sister and your ex-husband have gotten a little close." I couldn't refuse her invitation to her boyfriend, since the invitation included a +1. "Never mind," Gloria pouted. Then looking at me, she continued, "Just don't make a scene and ruin this wonderful night for me." Gloria, I assure you that in honor of the several wonderful years we have spent together, I will be on my best behavior. I realize how much this night means to you, and I will do my best to make sure that you can remember this night as the one that started the rest of your life. I have loved you exceptionally for many years, Gloria. I will do everything I can to make sure that this night is the kickstart to the new life you deserve. Was it my fault she misinterpreted my words? I wasn't lying. So her beaming smile indicated that she found my words favorable. Was it my fault? 3 hours had passed. Dinner was finished and put away. The band played for a while longer. There was a lot of dancing. I was in the center of the dance floor with Alyssa. Of course, it was a total setup. The couples around us discreetly moved away to give us space. It was the middle of the song. Suddenly, the spotlight fell on us. I did 2 quick spins and then dropped to a knee with the ring in my hand. Alyssa, ever since you came into my life, you have occupied all my thoughts. You've gotten me through the most difficult situation I could think of. You are the first thought I wake up with in the morning, and the last thought I fall asleep with at night. I just can't imagine the rest of my life without you. Will you do me the honor of becoming my wife? Of course, she said yes. Seriously, people. We planned it all out ahead of time. I had already signed a prenup. She even jumped me right on the dance floor and gave me a very long, very passionate kiss on the lips. Everyone applauded. This led to Gloria getting even more pissed off that we were drawing attention to what was supposed to be her evening. The evening turned from her divorce party to Alyssa and I's engagement party. After a couple hours, everything fell into place. Brad! We were supposed to get married right after my divorce became final. Now it's final, so why did your sister just get engaged to my ex-husband and you haven't even given me a ring yet? We haven't even started planning our wedding. Gloria ran into Brad right in the middle of all the high society she so desperately sought. Well, the thing is this, Gloria. Over the past few months that he's been dating my sister, I've gotten to know Adam pretty well. He's a really great guy and we've become pretty good friends. It occurred to me that if you cheated so easily on a great guy like him who gave you nothing but love, what's stopping you from cheating on me? After all, you're the one who hit on me. At first, you even lied to me about being single. And when you had to admit you were married, you pretended like you were separated and were going to divorce anyway. After talking to Adam about it, I found out that you lied about that too. I absolutely cannot marry a known liar and cheater like you. In fact, I'm breaking up with you. I'm giving you a week to find a new place to live before I throw all your crap out on the street. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go talk to a couple of single ladies, replied Brad. Epilogue. Oh, she tried to fight. She came back with a vengeance to try to change the divorce decree. The problem was that too much evidence had been gathered against her, showing that she had voluntarily and in fact insisted on a totally unfair division of property. The judge didn't take too kindly to her when she went back and tried to amend the divorce she insisted on. Alyssa and I got married. Yes, there was an ironclad prenup. After all, I should have known. I had my own lawyer draw it up. Alyssa thought it was too harsh, but I had already signed it. I really didn't need her money. No, I didn't belong to their class, but I had enough money of my own to take care of myself if something went wrong. I sent Gloria a beautiful wedding announcement. It had a picture of me and Alyssa in it. Also, in the background, Brad and Gloria's sister were playing tonsil hockey. Okay, I did that on purpose. However, I was not responsible for the invitation to the wedding 6 months later between Brad and Gloria's little sister. Gloria did not attend. No, Gloria didn't become homeless. She ended up working at Taco Bell and living in a rundown studio apartment. Now she shops at Goodwill for clothes and Walmart for underwear. In trying to get ahead, she has lost the carefree lifestyle she was used to. She is still a very attractive woman, but what she was trying to do became known. She still tried a few more times to hook up with one of the rich bachelors in town, but everyone knew what a gold digger she was. I saw Gloria again about a year later. Alyssa and I were on our way back from dinner at a great Italian restaurant on the other side of town. "That looks like Gloria," Alyssa said, pointing to a street corner. Sure enough, when I looked over there, there was Gloria. She was leaning against a building. Her hair was styled, but not flawlessly. I guessed she was leaning against the building because walking in boots with a 7-inch heel must have been quite difficult. I was surprised I could recognize her at all from her garish makeup. Her lips were painted on with red paint. Her eyes were painted with black shadow. I wasn't sure if it was just really thick mascara or if she had false eyelashes. It didn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what was going on here. First, this was an area of town known for a certain type of financial transaction. Second, there were several other women in similar outfits, and probably not women, walking the streets. The final clue was that while we were waiting for the green light, another car turned right at the intersection and stopped in front of her on the curb. Gloria turned sharply and the passenger side window rolled down. She leaned over to the car and began talking to the driver and his passenger. After a brief negotiation, the passenger door opened and the passenger got out of the car. Alyssa and I watched as the passenger seat leaned forward, and Gloria and the man moved to the back seat of the car. When the door closed, the car pulled into the street and drove away. Alyssa and I looked at each other and burst into laughter. "Baby?" began my wife Alyssa one bright Saturday morning. I started thinking about it last week when we saw Gloria on the street corner. Obviously, she's in dire need of money. Seriously, why else would an attractive woman go into prostitution? She's desperate. I looked at our budget. Can you believe we pay $5,000 a month for a maid in our house? We could hire a live-in maid for about half that amount when you include room and board. Seriously, we have rooms available and meals would only cost a little more if we added a third person. We could save thousands of dollars and get better service by hiring a full-time maid. I liked the idea Alyssa suggested. The next week, Gloria moved in with him. She had no choice as she was being evicted for rent arrears. Yeah, we made her take a series of STD tests. It took 6 weeks of antibiotics before she was clean. Gloria's uniform consisted of a leather collar, 6-inch heels, and... Okay, Gloria complained. Of course, she had voluntarily signed the labor contract. She knew what she was signing up for. Gloria became a permanent resident of our home. When Alyssa and I had our first child at the age of 5, we decided that Gloria should have a real uniform that wouldn't expose her. Gloria and I never went outside without Alyssa being involved. I let Alyssa spend time with Gloria when I wasn't home. I am living the good life now. I have a wonderful and faithful wife, a beautiful family, and a slave girl available to me whenever I want. Well, that's the end of the story. If you liked it, you can subscribe to my channel and watch the next video.